This is peaceful. I log in, we have this song playing, and we're here at Genesis Village, where it all started. The first village we saw when we first began this world over a year ago. Well over a year ago, like a year and a half. Crazy how time flies, doesn't it? Anyways, I had on the agenda today to go to an ocean monument, and I was actually all prepared. I had my ender chest made. We have water breathing potions, swiftness potions, you name it. I decided to hold off on that when I was just, and again, peeling back the curtain here, between episodes I typically like knocking out some work and then hopping around to a bunch of different places. And I sat on this tree here and I was looking around and I just had the itch to do something about that, because this is just so beautiful what we did over here. Also, this was speaking to me. I'm not sure if we ever developed that, but it's like a perfect little island that we kind of have another portal hooked up to. Again, I don't know. Anyways, that just looks so plain. And it made me want to drop everything what I was planning on doing, because we're trying to get all the armor trims, but we're in no rush to do that. And I know that we also talked about a project of revamping Ugly Village well over that way, which I still want to do, but this was just speaking to me. So I'm not sure all what we're gonna accomplish today. We're going in without much of a plan here, but I have worked on village restoration projects before. I want to completely redo this thing. And so I kind of have an idea of how we need to start it and move from there. But I basically want to maintain the integrity of this village. So all the buildings and structures we have here, I want to keep them in the exact same location, except change the actual build. So a home will still be here, but it will probably have a different block palette and look different. So that's the same for all the different buildings around here. And I'm thinking I get rid of the farm patches here and just make it a little bit more normal, I guess you could say. And then on top of that, not the square looking walls here, we could try to find a creative way to transition this village and also mob proof it from the outside. But yeah, aside from some terraforming as well, I'm thinking we open up this river. Again, maybe try blending a bit better the forest into the this half of the village here. I don't know, there's just lots of fun possibilities. Again, I'm not sure what we're going to accomplish here, how many episodes we'll spend over here at Genesis Village. But I just want to get started. And that's about it. We're just going to get started here. So the first step to all of these villager relocation projects is taking all the beds. We need to find a central little area to take all the villagers and just protect them from the outside world. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of the beds here and get this thing started. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, I should have every single bed minus, yep, this building right here, and this should be the last of them. Now I need to place this in a location where villagers will find their way back to it. So I'm thinking this little area of nothing out here is where I can move it to. So yeah, 3 blocks in from the edge here, we're just going to place down rows of beds. Okay, and this should do the trick. Now we need these guys to pathfind over that way, which is going to be tough because they're going all over right now. And this is my least favorite part about villager relocation and whatnot, is the pathfinding. So maybe I just, place down a bed, kind of get them a little bit closer to this area, because none of them have found it. Literally nobody. Uh-oh. Now we have a zombie infestation, sort of. Oh, lordy. Well, if you guys spawned more iron golems, we wouldn't have this problem, would we? Oh boy, this is an actual issue. So this is why we installed these walls in the first place, and we're just seeing it kind of magnified because we're at the edge of a village that is not lit up. So I think to avoid this problem from happening, first and foremost, we need it to be daytime. But at the same time, I think we need to make them a little safe house here, a little dirt hut or something, so they can't be running around everywhere. I did enough of a sweep here to where I think almost every single villager is that way. So yeah, we're all set here. So I'm going to go ahead And let's think this through just a little bit. For the most part, we're zombie free here. And I say that, then another one spawns in, but that's fine. Okay, we need some, it looks like we already have blocks, believe it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to make a ton of spruce planks. Why not? And I'm doing the cheap way of building this thing here. So yeah, torch, we'll place you on this corner here. It should be lit up enough. And then I'm going to take some of these planks, turn them into slabs. And then this will kind of be the outer edge here. And we'll place another layer of slabs up here, just so nothing could spawn on top. Okay. Safe house is basically done, so if they're running around, they're going to stay in here. That's just wonderful. So I think we're safe to sleep now. So to my knowledge, every single villager that's left in this village is now inside this little structure, which should allow us to have a little bit more freedom of movement here. Now we could use a little vantage point. I think the big thing that I wanted to tackle here was this river down the middle. And I don't think it's going to be interfering too much with any structure. I do want to try to find a way to keep that fountain there and maybe make it look cooler. Oh, lordy. Okay, so we're up here. So I'm thinking this river definitely should connect. Like, it just makes sense. This is an island, by the way. I had no clue. This is an island with its own nether portal here. Ruin. Sunken ship, tiny little ravine headed towards the middle here. Very cool. Very cool. And so these villagers, I guess, just decided, hey, I'm going to build a settlement right near all this in this little cove. But I think this river is very important to shape up just because of how weird this looks here. So there's a little entranceway here. Another here, and it goes out that way, and I'm thinking we could keep this as an island. So now it's just a matter of spacing this out to where it makes sense. We're going to do some things here. We're going to get rid of this fenced-in area, and also I think we need to get rid of this farm patch here. Again, this is all, we're going to get farming and all that stuff back in here eventually. We're just trying to open up the canvas a little bit to start with some changes. And I love how I went from, in the beginning of this series, like, hey, we shouldn't touch the villages, not do anything, don't destroy them. And now it's changed to, hey, this looks ugly, let's fix it. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see if there's instant regret here, but we're doing it now. We're doing it. No going back. Okay, so we have the farm patches out. Now it's a matter of shaping this river. I've been wanting to do this for ages. And we're going to start at this Y level here. And then we'll obviously sculpt out the river base later. I'm just trying to, again, get a feel for the shape here. I think right in this area here where this pathway goes this way, we're going to want to build a bridge that's going to be lifted here. I think we need to add some depth. I think that's going to be important. And what's also important here is adding a place for storage. So I'm thinking just outside of where our villagers are at now, we're going to place the chests that we already gathered up and just, yeah, plop all the building blocks in here. So let's think about this for a second. The ocean definitely goes in here, and this is definitely floating above. We have a decision to make. Definitely. I'm thinking we're going to get rid of this boardwalk, first and foremost. That's just going to happen. So let's play with the idea of this being a tiny little island here. Okay, so I'm going to continue to play with the shape here. This is what we have so far. And it probably looks... Actually, it does look better. I was about to say it probably looks worse than what it was. But we just need to figure out how exactly this shape winds through the village. So that's step number one. So give me a few minutes here. We're having fun, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, take a look at this. This is the shape of the river. It kind of, you know, I don't know. It should be wider in comparison. Hold up. Well, I guess it does tighten there a bit, but it's a nice little man-made, clearly man-made through here. And then there's a little island here where I think we could connect like all the fisher villagers. I think that'll be cool. So I'm filling in the blanks now, and I don't want any water pockets here. So I'm actually filling in all the dirt that we got from previous episodes is going to be going in here. Then after this, I need to figure out how the heck I'm going to terraform the riverbanks. For instance, right here, I did like the idea of kind of having some cliffs jut out, and maybe it flattens out like around this point. So I kind of like the idea of having that up a little bit here, you know? So we're going to terraform this together here. I just kind of want to give you a feel for the next part in the process here. So clearly we're filling in, but I want this, I do like the idea of this being a little bit higher. Yeah, we definitely want to change up the Y values a little bit near here so it's not just a plain, you know, water block. We need some change in depth here for sure. And that might be something we do kind of all throughout the coast here, because eventually villagers will fall in. It's just gonna happen at some point. Maybe we could try our best to avoid that. But villagers do like taking swims, and we need to have a way for them to pathfind out. Okay, so eventually I want a little pathway kind of heading up, yeah, right through the middle of these buildings here. So maybe this is where we could kind of get something carved out. Okay, so let's take a look from down here. I've just kind of been placing dirt. So yeah, I'm kind of looking for a little, like a point here, a point of interest, I don't know. And then we'll fill in some stone and whatnot to put underneath here. Again, just trying to figure out the shape. There's a lot more interest here. Then maybe back here is like an area where we could like place an animal pen or something, right? So that's just one tiny area of terraforming done here. And wow, that looks funky from this side for sure. But again, there is some interest with that jutting out there. So again, we could worry about the shapes, or I guess the finite details later, maybe texturing a bit, decorating the cliffs and the riverbanks and whatnot. But for now, that's a solid start. So now I'm going to do the same here, where I'm going to take this riverbank here, fill it in from the bottom. Goodness gracious. It's going to be a lot of work, but I look forward to it. This is lots of fun being able to mess with the area here. Okay, so I'm starting to run into issues with terraforming, and the reason being is that we have all these buildings here. So I need to take them down to their studs, or at least the very bottom, because I want to raise this Y level up by 1, at least here. We'll leave that down to, you know, actual sea level. And I think up here I want to raise this by 1 block too, in this area. But yeah, that's going to involve some more demolition here. So I just wanted to kind of update you guys. I am going to take out trees for now. We don't really care about the trees staying in the exact same places, but the buildings, I'm going to try to do it. So yeah, a little bit of demolition is going to go down here. Again, I want to bring this up 1 Y level here. And then this side too, I'm thinking bring it up by 1 as well, but maybe towards the end here. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to bring it up the majority 1 block here, but who knows? Just going to do whatever looks good, I guess. Okay, progress update time. This looks way different over here, doesn't it? Let's take a look here. First and foremost, we will eventually get to making this river deeper. And also, this is a hazard. We're going to get rid of this right now, because that will just suffocate villagers eventually. But that is kind of a good idea for villager defense from drowns coming in from the ocean. So maybe out here we could put like a line of like magma blocks or something like that. I don't know. So as you can see, we took down all the structures here minus this building. And we actually left in this 1 crop field here. So it's all down to the studs at this point. We're going to fill in some pathways eventually. I thought it would be cool to kind of add this little hill here, maybe a few trees and a couple on that end. I don't know. Again, just trying to make this space cozy and also add some depth to it and layers. So I thought a little hill there might be nice. And then out here we had this hill jut out. We took down trees, obviously. We're going to fill back trees in later. But we have this little area jutting out here that goes up to the original animal pen here. And then there's just space around this edge here. And then we also kind of did a hard terraform over here, and maybe this will involve my favorite thing in the world, retaining walls, but for now we're just going to leave it as such. So that's the transformation that happened over on this side of the river, and this side's completely untouched. We have a zillion iron golems spawned here, which is good. It's good to have all these iron golems, you know, fighting off any monsters that come in and try to mess with our villagers. But yeah, I think the next step here that I want to do is take down all the buildings on this side to the studs and kind of repeat and try to fix all the other, I guess, the remaining terraforming of this village area. I think I want to focus strictly on the terraforming the more I thought about it. So get everything terraformed down to the studs on this side and then shape out the river afterwards. So I'll probably do a check-in before that, but that's the plan now. So we're gonna do plenty of said terraforming and destruction, and we have all of our stuff here. I'm probably gonna make a few more chests because we're gonna get a bunch of random crap from destroying the rest of these builds. And I think I want to keep the blacksmith build. Everything else is gonna go just because it's actually, I kind of like it. So I like that build, but everything else is a little plain for me. So we'll try to optimize everything else or give it a facelift. So take a look at this. We were at 4 full double chests of dirt, and we've already depleted 2, and that's how much grass we have. Let's take a look at our progress here. And we're going through lots of rockets here, but I'm not sure if you guys are observant or not. Take a look at how different this looks compared to before, and if you don't really notice anything, just skip back in the video and come back here because it is absolutely crazy how much work we've done here. We've added 2 double chests worth of dirt just to this, I guess, everything all together here. But this is looking absolutely awesome, and we're not even done yet. I'm actually just adding the finishing touches here to this layer here. And a lot of the work here wasn't even necessarily in the village, it was around the village, especially out here. We filled in the gaps and just kind of evened out what made sense out here to transition the terrain correctly or as best as possible into the village. So if we take a look from this angle, everything lines up for the most part except for this little area here, and it might even make sense to add this in here or just get this ridgeline matching up the more I look at it. But I do want this to kind of, I don't know, look a little bit, I don't know. I don't want everything to be on one level, essentially, is what I'm trying to accomplish here. And if we raise this by 1, it does definitely make sense. Then down here, how does this look? Now this is where I'd like to maybe, I don't know, like cut off some. I don't know. Hold up. We're going to walk through the last little bits of terraforming here because we haven't done it. What is it? The past hour, we've just kind of been going crazy here. Okay, it is now filled in. Let's take a look from up here. I think this is a good vantage point for us to work with. Now, that is a pretty good ridge line for the most part. We're going to be adding in some custom retaining walls there, so maybe we could kind of have it go out this way a bit because I want to include a little bit more flat area around this because this is going to be like the town hall. Okay, how does this look minus the grass stacking on top of each other? I do think this is a better transition. Then from here, obviously, we could take our pathway headed up like such. Boom. Okay, I think that's good. Let's take one more look from this vantage point. Gorgeous. So that's been kind of the whole process here, trial and error. And again, I want to mix in a little bit of retaining wall with mainly natural looking terrain for the most part. So that's how we came up with this design. Now we have a canvas for us to work with here. This is a clean canvas, and that is kind of phase one of what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, phase two is the logistics of this all, because this now needs to be a walkable village for these villagers to live in here. So I think it's a matter of maybe going back to these plots of land here and adjusting them, because we don't want just plain squares. I want the buildings to be in the same area, but I don't think plain squares is going to look the best here. So that is the next step here. Now, in order to figure all this out, we have a population of villagers here, so we need to understand how many houses we can build. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, looks like we have 9 total villagers. I have their professions written out here. Now it is a matter of making sure each one of them has a home. Why don't we have a weaponsmith? Oh, we stole the weaponsmith. I forgot about that. Hey, kitty. No, don't freak out. It's okay. You stay in there. Yeah, you're good. You're good. That's your home now. So I forgot that we're missing some villagers because we kidnapped them. So we're going to have to replenish the population here. So I think 2 farmers is a good number. Maybe we could add in a couple more fishermen here. Actually, 1 should be fine. I don't know. How about this? I'm going to do a little bit of brainstorming. I have the count of villagers we have now. Maybe we need to set a goal of expanding the villager population here. So we could go ahead and do that by throwing in these random crops that we've been growing up, or that we took from taking down the plots over there. So you guys go crazy, make some babies. And we're going to sit on our thinking chair and think. So I am trying to do an exercise that I'm a little uncomfortable with, and that is lore. Lore. I'm awful with it, and I'm trying to think about how this village can not only be cool, but we could also try to tell a story. So right now we have just been aimlessly terraforming the area, but I think that word, the L word there, kind of determines how we lay out this village and how exactly we choose professions here. So what felt right after looking at all the professions is just adding in a shepherd and weaponsmith. The reason being is just over that hill there, we have a citadel and an armory. And the only reason I'm adding a weaponsmith here is because the building's already here, right? We stole the weaponsmith. So maybe somebody resumes that position here, right? So somebody, hey, senior weaponsmith's gone, I'm going to take his place. Now, as far as this area goes, I could see this being like a little area for trade. It's a dock. These 3 little tents were set up here for people to sell goods. And there used to be bells here. I took it away so everybody would congregate over there. But maybe we add a couple bells here as well, just so, people are congregating there every single day. It's not just the fishermen all alone. Or maybe we could add more workstations down here just as the population increases for people that, maybe swap a workstation in the middle of these tents here. So this could be an area for trade, and people, maybe we have like a little dock headed out this way here. And then it's obviously going to be connected by bridges here as well. But maybe on that dock there could maybe be a boat at some point. I haven't done a good boat build yet in this world. But then, this will branch out. This is kind of the lifeblood of bringing in people, right? If we're using our imagination here, and then this spreads out into the city. And since this is a plains biome, there's going to be lots of farmers, as well as, again, the shepherd, the butcher as well, leather worker. So a big focus on agriculture here, as well as all the other stuff, right? We have the cartographer, we have a Fletcher, as well as a mason and a cleric. So Genesis Village has a little bit of a story behind it here. So with that being said, I really think it should be a focal point for the logistics here. to really have an emphasis on connecting this up and making sure that this is all navigable. As far as everything else goes, since it is a farming oriented village outside of the port, so there's the port and farms here, I'm thinking along the outskirts, and maybe we need to go up to the Tree of Chaos for this to really see it well. Whose tree are we landing on, or whose level? Oops! I guess we're going to be here. Whose is this? Ron the drummer. So Ron, we could kind of see it from your area here. I'm thinking we blend in on the outside, like farm fields and whatnot. We haven't really done crop fields outside of this, but I'm really thinking we can go all out here because we have the auto farm down there to plant a bunch of seeds, just wheat field upon wheat field over here, just kind of along the outside. So maybe we could focus on the farming area instead of being over here, where I guess maybe the shepherd can, live over here near this hill, kind of in this area. But over here, maybe add like a barn and, that sort of stuff. Maybe the butcher's place as well as the leather worker, maybe they share an area together to kind of tend to all the the cows and pigs. But yeah, that's the thought process, and it looks like the butcher's already kind of close to here. So in total, we need 11 houses. Getting down to business and kind of wrapping up this long-winded thought. Currently, we have a house for the cleric. We've decided that this is going to be where the shepherd's at. Then we got 2 more over there. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we actually have 13 houses. That's good. Maybe we could add a couple more fishermen there since we're at 11 total. So we're actually all set. And it's just a matter of changing where the profession houses are going to be. So real quick, I think it makes sense to move the mason here as well as the Fletcher. Again, this is going to be brought down a level here. I'm just keeping this here so we know where it was at. This used to be our librarian, but no longer. And this is the butcher here, but we'll just take that workstation away. Oh, and there's another one down here. Maybe we could get rid of that house. I don't know. So since this is where our cleric's at, right here, I'm thinking it might make sense to have the cartographer close by, just because it's a similar type of profession. And then I think I'm going to get rid of this crop field, maybe keep it, but get rid of the workstation being here. And we're going to move this to where our farmers will be living out here. I think both of these could be our farmers living here and kind of having some crop fields to tend to around the outside here. And I'm thinking since this is kind of like an elevated area, maybe our mason can be here just because there's going to be some exposed rock eventually. So I think that would be cool. And maybe we do just leave the, maybe the smoker could stay here, and then the leather worker can go up here. Yeah, I think that would be good. Then maybe a little cow field right next to it. So we kind of have our farming district set up alongside a mason down here. This is where stuff could get interesting. I'm thinking maybe adding the fletching table here right next to the weaponsmith. In total, we have a few more buildings over here that we could kind of add to. So maybe this is where we can just decide to add another armorer and toolsmith and kind of have like a whole area here. And maybe, just maybe, we move this mason over a little bit closer to there. I'm going to get to maybe mapping out some rough pathways here. These are going to all change. So that's probably going to be the last thing we do on this episode. But again, we're setting the foundation and the canvas to build something pretty cool here. All right. I ran out of gas. This is what we have so far. So I have all the pathways laid out for the most part, and I started like freelancing shapes and stuff, and now I'm getting overwhelmed, so I'm going to end it. But that's just because we're getting too far ahead of ourselves here. But this should give us a good idea of what we're looking for. So first and foremost, in this area here, I'm thinking we just add in just a bunch of like paths on the ground. I'm thinking brick pathways here. feeling a little fancy, so we'll see if we end up doing that. But yeah, have an entire like plaza area here on the coast, and then we have a way up here and a way up there. And this pathway will take us by some custom homes here. That's what we're doing. I think our villager population is going to be way more than what it is necessary. We'll have just, you know, a certain amount of workforce here, and we could just have extra villagers. It's not a big deal. And yeah, we definitely need to light this up. All these torches, by the way, I didn't craft a single torch. This is all extra torches that I picked up from terraforming and like tearing down buildings. So we definitely need to replace all the lights here. But yeah, I really hope this is inspiring to you all, and I look forward to your comments and suggestions below as far as what we need to do to this village here. So right now, hold up, this is a pretty great screenshot for y'all. Right now, I think a good next step, you know, now that we got this laid out, is just kind of take this bit by bit, just like this series. This is a big project. It could be overwhelming. So I'm going to think about what I want to work on next year, but we have an incredible template to start out with. So with that being said, we're going to press pause here, come back later. But first and foremost, before we do that, we need to go to the enchanted forest where that huge tree is behind us and respond to one of your incredible comments. So today's comment is coming from Credo Man, and they said, "It's a good morning. This playthrough has been so much fun to keep up with. Simple and to the point." Credo Man, thank you so much for commenting. It doesn't matter what you comment, this forest is just as chaotic as the rest of this series here. And yeah, that comment stood out to me. And I guess this poses the question, what time of the day do you watch me? Is it morning like Credo Man here? Is it the evening? Is it during school or work? I don't know. I'm curious. So definitely look forward to hearing what you all have to say in the comments here. And very unrelated, but related to the episode, the Silk Road that we built so long ago, maybe we need to give it a facelift once this village is all set and done. But goodness gracious, this is going to look cool. I'm so stoked to actually continue on with this project here. Again, something brand new to look forward to building. You could still see our beautiful area over here, but this is just another project for us to work on. And we'll take this bit by bit and have a good time. And yeah, that river, by the way, I absolutely love it. I love how it's elevated versus the river. Sure, it's going to have us run into some headaches. I'm sure of it. But yeah, no, this is absolutely incredible. And with that being said, thank you people so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like rating down below. It really helps out the channel. And as always, if you hated it, leave a dislike and tell me why. This has been Impala 100, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Take care for now. Bye-bye.